Culture and me.
It is a place where the truth should be kept.
The arts and music scene really shows what people are about.
Share what's going on here in York.
Makes you feel like a family.
Local art has a face that most people can relate to.
Our community up here that sticks together.
Art is art.
Great potential, great artists, poets, singers, writers, directors, filmmakers. It's fantastic.
Everyone has a story to tell.
That moment, you have to capture that moment and share it with the rest of the world.
Showing something that maybe has not been seen before.
Without art, what is life?
I am art. I've been art ever since I was born.
It really adds a great deal to our community.
You don't really need art to exist, but you need art to live.
Culture in Maine is important, and I think playing out is important. And playing open mics and playing wherever you can play, it's all about us all checking in with each other.
Hey, when they see me off in traffic. Hey, thanks for coming out. Thanks for supporting me. You know I love my Jeezy. When they see me off in traffic, they be like, damn, pull that bitch over. Okay, because I drive a 2002 Nissan Dumpster. My car is raggedy as shit. Okay, my car came all the way up this bitch like a U2 album. It was rattling and humming the whole damn time. I ain't even mad. It got me up here though. Glad to be up here in PA with you guys doing Culture in Maine. Shout out to... Great. Shout out to Culture in Maine for doing this. You know, it's hard to be in. You see how fat I am? It's hard to be a fat chick these days. You know, you're a fat chick. People expect things like they expect you to be at the buffet soon as they open and shit like that. No, that's not really how it works. You know, we like to make little stops throughout the course of our day. You know what I mean? So I'm proud to say that my apple fritter and beef patty diet has finally kicked in from 7-Eleven. I just gained about 20 pounds. Yeah, it's hard though. I ain't ashamed. Shit, it is what it is. Y'all be listening to Beyonce and shit, right? I'm trying to figure out what the is going on with Beyonce because, you know, she started out really wholesome, really sweet, and now she wants the driver to roll up the partition. She don't want to be seen on her knees. She on the run. I'm trying to figure some things out, okay? You know, she was real wholesome. Is that really Jay-Z's baby? I think he might need to take her on Maury to see if that's his baby. You know, because, you know, now she just don't want to be touched. She don't want to be seen. You know, she was a real nice chick in the beginning, you know. And I like Maury. But let's be honest. Can we be honest for a minute? So in the history of the Maury Povich show, that started out as Maury Povich, now he just Maury. Right. In the history of the Maury Povich show, he has tested like 384,916 men for the same 40 women to see if, you know, they are the father. I think they testing the wrong motherfucker. Maybe they should be testing Maury's ass. Don't you think Maury might be the father? That's why so many are not the father of this baby. I'm like really trying to figure this out. I don't get it, but you know, hey, that's just me. You know, I don't have kids, you know. My mother keep asking me, when you gonna have kids? When you gonna give me a baby? What you gonna have, a change of life baby? You know what my response is at age 36? Every baby changes your life, mother. I ain't trying to hear that shit. I don't have time for little toddlers and tykes and running around. I got shit to do. Shit, parenting is hard work. Shout out to anybody who can parent and get it done and over with. Because I'm sorry. If you can do it real quick, because 18 years seems like a long time. You know, I'm 36 and I still ask my mother for stuff. I ain't even gonna lie. Shoot. You know. But I'm glad y'all here. It's really good to see y'all. I came all the way up from Baltimore. I got pulled over twice. But, you know, it's nice to be here. I'm glad to see that y'all got this thing going up on here in PA. You know, she was talking to me and she was telling me everybody bypasses York. Shit, everybody bypasses the fat girl. I guess I must be York, too. You know, damn peppermint patty, though. You know, I'm fat. I try to keep it all tucked in and sucked in and stuff. But it's hard. It's really hard. Y'all laughing, but when I started gaining weight, I started blaming the girl at the wash and fold and everything. I'm like, oh, she must be using hot water on my jeans. Y'all know these ain't even really capris. I just gained so much weight, they done came all the way up my legs. They was pants when I bought them, though. You're laughing, but I'm serious. I hate you skinny people. Skinny people out there, you know. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from anybody who can keep the weight off, okay? But if you got this much weight, it's a lot of work. This is a lot of hard work. I got to wash between all kinds of cracks and crevices and creases and get up in gaps that you ain't never seen before. Shoot, I got so many rolls, I feel like a bakery when I step outside. It's enough people in this audience for me to just go ahead and send y'all these jokes via text. No, y'all laughing, but I'm dead serious. If everybody would just send me their phone number, I'll just Facebook them to you. Anybody in here do Facebook other than me? Because I'm convinced that Mark Zuckerberg might be black. I don't care how many times you see him, okay? But Mark Zuckerberg might actually be black because he's like a black person. You know that little section of people you may know? Like, he's really pushy with that, isn't he? You know how somebody dies and you're like, oh my God, like, you know so-and-so. You know kid from around the way. What's her last name? I can't think of her last name. But you know, with the blonde hair, that's how he is in the people you may know section. You know, that really irritates me. That doesn't bother y'all. And I feel like my friends are dirty because I see the same profile picture for like 5 days. So when I see them in the street and they got on them same clothes that I see them in their profile picture, and I'm like, oh my God, she did not even wash today. She is so trifling. Y'all don't think y'all friends dirty? I think my friends dirty. I think they all dirty. Shoot, I'm sorry. It just is what it is. Everybody, am I the only one on Instagram? I know I'm not the only one on Instagram straight flexing. Okay, yeah, I'm on Instagram straight flexing. I don't even Instagram as much as I Facebook. But, you know, I mean, like, you can't help it, can you? I've been on Facebook 10 years. They gave me my little video. I was all excited and shit. Oh, I done made the movies. Everybody had a damn video. What kind of shit is this? You know, but I'm also a college student, full-time college student, trying to get my life right and everything. You know, I'm working on like my 3rd or 4th degree. I don't know. I got so many degrees at this point. I'm just going to be Jennifer A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, L, C, P, C, and all of that good stuff. You know, I owe Sally Mae money, but she the only friend I got who keeps loaning me money. I don't get it. Like, didn't Sally Mae die like 70 years ago? And she still got money to give. I understand it's just a name, but seriously, like, I stay in school. I got 3 degrees, and when somebody asks me, oh, what you in school for now? I tell them the truth, refunds. I'm only in school for the refunds. I don't play them kind of games. I go to school every semester. That's like getting 3 tax checks a year, ain't it? And considering that they intercept my taxes because I owe MVA, man, I think I still owe MTA bus fare. Shit, they intercept your taxes for every day going thing down there. Y'all got tax intercept? I'm sure it's, yeah. Oh, you been intercepted? That's what I'm talking about. Listen. If you got to get intercepted, don't be mad. Just register for some classes. Shoot, that's what I do. I got numbers. I be calling people. Hey, is my tax, my refund ready? What school you go to? Coppin State University. Hey, is my refund ready? What school you go to? Morgan State University. I changed schools. I was on academic suspension, academic probation. I was like, I'll just transfer because I need my refund. That's like a paycheck every 3 months. I ain't lying. That's one lump sum. I love it. Yeah, but I really just stay in school for the refunds and the free food that I can get. Like, I just bought a gas card on my student money because I couldn't afford gas because I'm just that broke. Y'all don't know what it is to be broke, do y'all? No, seriously, like, I'm so broke, I just got declined on the dollar menu at McDonald's using cash. I only had like 98 cents. They wouldn't take my money. I was like, damn, it's the dollar menu. You know how hard it was to scrape all that change up out of my car? Then I got people calling me talking about, can I borrow money? Borrow money? You better register for some classes like I do. I don't play them kind of games. You know, I buy McDonald's gift cards, Burger King gift cards. I buy Christmas gifts on my student money right in the school bookstore. Everybody gets something from the school bookstore fooling with me. Bookmarks, ink pens, pens. I love all of that stuff. I'm trying to make everybody a scholar.
You know that we are all about mixing it up this season on Culture in Maine. And there are tons of different arts and cultural experiences out there. There's very little that is more fun than getting some stand-up comedy in your life. And Phoenix, we had to bring her all the way up from Baltimore to share some stand-up with us. And she is hilarious. So I hope you enjoyed her, but now we get to know the woman behind the comedic face. So now we have like the Phoenix side, who that's our stand-up girl. That's the club scene. And then we also have nice Jennifer, the college student, and
Who exists very little.
she's being phased out.
No, not really. I mean, she's just very reserved. She's a lot more reserved.
So you have, as a stand-up comedian, you have the secret, reserved, quiet, shy side?
I have to.
So how do you flip the switch to get on stage and be so out there? I mean, comedy to me is so interesting because it feels, it's very real. I mean, even with theater or poetry or music, you really do get to hide behind it to a certain extent.
That's true, but for me personally, there's Jennifer and then there's Jenny. So, I mean, growing up, everybody knows Jenny. You know Jennifer from the professional setting, and as a student, as a student, you're always Jennifer. As an employee, you're always Jennifer. So certainly, everybody knows Jennifer in that setting. But then outside of work and outside of school, just like hanging out with your friends and doing things in social settings, you're Jenny. So Jenny gets to be Phoenix. So it's more like,
get some wings.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of people who know me often say, "Oh my God, Jenny, like I can't believe you're doing it." Like, so it's like Jenny is really Phoenix or Phoenix is really Jenny, but Jennifer still has some, there's still
She's still in there.
Yeah, like Jennifer deals with family and friends. Jenny is a socialite. Jenny's a social butterfly.
Friends.
Yeah, family and friends only.
Did you have to work to create sort of this separate persona, or it was naturally just that you had two different sides of you?
I'm actually still working on creating that separate persona, and I have to be honest, like comedy is something that I truly fell into. Comedy, I truly fell into comedy, and a lot of people don't know this, but I actually started doing comedy November of 2012. November of 2012. Yeah, November 17th, 2012 was actually my first show, and I did it because at that time I was working part-time, I was going to school full-time, and I said, okay, this is something I can do to finally shut my friends up, shut people up, and I'm going to prove to them that it's not just as simple as jump on stage, grab a mic, tell your story, and people are going to laugh. And
so had people been telling you before that, well, I think that you should get into stand-up. You're so funny, girl. You should get up there and you should do stand-up.
You should do stand-up. You should be doing stand-up. You should be doing
so
stand-up.
You were going to prove to them that you couldn't do it.
Right. You just don't do stand-up. Like stand-up just doesn't happen. You don't just stand up and tell jokes. And
surprise!
And it backfired. Like I like to think of it as the backfire. I mean, it's probably one of the most positive backfires I've ever experienced.
So how did you just walk onto a stage and
No, Actually, I met a gentleman by the name of Ricky Shackelford, who's a comedian, Baltimore legend, and I met him in Subway, and he was out marketing. I met him in Subway, getting a $5 footlong, of course. I'm a fat girl.
All about the right place at the right time.
Oh, and he said, I'm always, recruiting for new talent, comedians, singers, dancers, and I was like, I'll do it. And he was like, okay, so you got to sell 10 tickets. So I inboxed 10 friends and I said, hey, I'm going to try stand-up comedy. Please don't tell anybody. I'd like for you guys to come and support me.
You had 50 people there.
Tickets. And from the 10, I got 7 people who said, oh, can I bring so-and-so? Can I bring so-and-so? I've got to bring somebody. Let me tell somebody. So my first 10 ended up being 17, which was good, just, simply because it was over that number.
Right.
But from 10, it was 17. From 17, it was, and it just continued to grow. And I was like, okay, fine. And it took me maybe about a solid year to actually make a decision that I was going to commit to it.
Wow. So where do you see this going for you? Like, at what point did you make the switch over and say, this is really my passion, this is something I really want to dedicate myself to?
I have to be totally honest. I have no expectations. Life is full of surprises, so I have no true expectations. I'm not putting any limits on it. I'm not putting any expectations on it. What happens, happens. Jennifer is a mental health counselor, and that's my passion. Wow. That's what I enjoy. But I think it's a field where I'm able to laugh in the face of adversity for and with other people, and then I'm able to make other people laugh. So I kind of, that's where my life kind of intertwines, and I like it. So I have no real expectations.
No expectations, no regrets.
Exactly. Yeah. Expectations bring regrets. So yeah, if you got expectations and you put too much on it, and you overwhelm yourself with what you desire from it, then you kind of you set the bar and then you miss the mark, and it's like, oh no, I got to start all over.
Right.
So rather than set the bar, it's just kind of like, okay, I'll go with the flow. I love it. So people ask, I say yes. I'm a never say no type person. So when people ask, I say
that could
yes.
be dangerous.
It can, but so far so good. So far so good in terms of comedy. It's been pretty good.
So just as an example, what are some other just crazy adventures you had just from that approach to life? I mean, I know most people would rather die than get up and do stand-up comedy in front of a whole room full of people. And just because you said yes instead of saying no, you now have these people coming to shows.
I can't necessarily say that I've had any crazy adventures, because honestly, I like to think that every day of my life, shenanigans are possible. And I call them shenanigans because, some people
love that.
Right, some people get into shenanigans. I always, there's always something with me. You know what I mean? It's like I wake up and I have no expectations for the day, and it's just like I'm gonna go with the flow, and my car breaks down, and my car breaking down could very well be, it's like, this is not funny, this is not funny. But when I tell somebody the story, they're like, oh my God, that's hilarious, and I'm like, well, where were you? It's like, this isn't funny. Like, these things really happen, so it's like shenanigans happen every day. I think one of the things that I totally love about my life is that I have a host of friends. And when I say a host, I have a host of friends. I have a host of supporters, but my friends, most of my friends at this age, most of my friends are 20 years or better in my friendships. So I know that if nothing else, I have true friends. I have friends who are dedicated to helping me to grow.
And no matter what happens, if they've been around for 20 years,
right,
they're not going anywhere at this point.
You're stuck with me. You're stuck with me.
Is that these everyday life experiences, is that where you get most of your material from?
That and just, things that I enjoy, things that other people don't think about. I think I'm one of those people who, I've always been the type of person, I'll say what other people won't say, So a lot of it is just, I'll have a conversation with somebody and it's, oh, that's so taboo. And it's like, yeah, okay, well, listen.
That's going in the set.
Right, I'm going to talk about that, So sometimes you just kind of, you switch things up. Of course, you change names to protect the innocent and things of that nature, but... and they're not so
protect
innocent.
the innocent,
right.
The job,
right? Protect the
government,
innocent, protect the guilty.
You don't want to be droned.
Yeah, so but I love it. It's a lot of life experience, family experience with friends, things that I see, and I kind of like, I may see something taking place, and because I'm only seeing part of what's taking place at a stoplight, I'm making up my own story along the way. Oh, that has to be what's going down over there. So it could very well turn into something that I give people on stage.
I love it. Well, let's hear a little more from you then, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so down in Baltimore, we guys, people think that we have, grammar problems because we use the word dog and Doug interchangeably. I'm going to give you guys a quick grammar lesson. So the word dog, as in the animal, when we say Doug, we actually mean Doug in terms of an animal. But then there's also our friend Doug, D-O-U-G. And you got to remember, when we're talking about this kind of stuff, we're not totally stupid. You have to keep in mind that when we say a Doug, we mean the animal. We use an article. We put an article in front of it. A Doug, the Doug. That's just how we talk. But when we're talking about our friend, we talk about him from a perspective of our friend Doug. Don't be mad. Don't get it twisted. We're very intelligent. We just choose not to enunciate and pronounce. It's okay. We do it all the time. Still down in Baltimore, I don't know if you guys have this problem up here, but, we can tell the difference in black neighborhoods and white neighborhoods, because in black neighborhoods, we have, ATMs, and in white neighborhoods, you guys have ATMs too, okay? But in white neighborhoods, it seems as though you guys have ATMs and bank machines at the local bank. All of your ATMs are actually found at the Wells Fargo and the PNC and the Bank of America and the local credit union, but not in a black neighborhood. See, down in Baltimore, in a black neighborhood, we got a bank machine at the liquor store, a bank machine in the hairdresser, a bank machine at the Rite Aid. We might have a bank, but the bank won't close before 6 o'clock because, we can't be trusted sometimes. But, that's just how we roll. We the home of the wire. So certainly we put a lot into upholding that image, and I think that we should. That was a very popular show. Put a lot into watching The Wire. We actually took time out to watch that like we were, waiting for The Cosby Show or waiting for some good stuff to come on. And it was nothing but violence. We live violence down there. It's okay. As long as we don't kill our friend Doug when we shooting at the Doug, I don't see what the problem is. But, I can't help but think about how easy it is, for us to kind of like make these transitions from a Doug to the Doug to our friend Doug. And it's all the same word. We eat hot dogs and all of that stuff. We cool with it. I don't see why other people can't be cool with it. Shoot, it works very well for us. We've been getting along just fine with Dougs and Doug our whole lives. So, but, as a flat girl, because I got a flat butt, I can't turn around and let you see it. But, yeah, it's really flat back there. When I was out shopping the other day, I was walking through Forever 22 because I can't shop in Forever 21 just yet. Doesn't look like I'll ever be able to shop in Forever 21. I'm okay with that, though. Yeah. So, me personally, I like being a fat girl. I really do, because when people see me in line, they just be like, let me move. I'm cool with it. Shoot, you don't want to stick around? Let me hurry up and get my food. At least I know mine going to be hot, because they know, But I actually burned my tongue the other day, biting into a French fry. You can't please fat people. If the food too hot, we mad because we done burnt our tongue. If the food too cold, we want to return it. But then, we so fat, we want to keep the cold food. Just go ahead and give me some hot food, too. I'm that person who's sitting in the drive-thru talking about, oh, it took you 1 minute and 47 seconds. Can I get a free cookie, a pie, or something? Why do we do that? And then be complaining about gaining weight. I don't get it. I mean, it's all right. I pay for my gym membership every month. I pay for my gym membership. That's about all I do. I keep paying for the membership, but I haven't actually been in quite some time. It's all right, though. I'm cool with it. I like it. I like riding past the gym going, oh, I'm going to go over there tomorrow. I always set plans to go to the gym. Never actually make it. I used to run. I lost a lot of weight running. And since I've, lost some weight, I got a little happy, so I went straight to the buffet when I realized how much weight I had lost, and that's how I started gaining it all back.
You may have seen our capturing of the faux exhibit upstairs in the Market View Arts Building, but today we're actually heading downstairs where some of the models from the Wayne White exhibit are actually still on display, as well as some of the beautiful silk screens and preparatory prints. But there's a whole lot more that's going on downstairs in the first floor gallery at Market View Art Space, which is where the Pennsylvania Arts Experience is housed. We're going to head in, check out the main body of the gallery, and talk to their executive director, Richard Zuber. He's going to tell us a little bit about this very cool collective of independent artists throughout the Pennsylvania River region. We're in the main gallery space here at the Pennsylvania Arts Experience. Now this is the heart and soul of the Market View Arts Building, because this is what people see when they're walking right down the street and they look in and they realize, wow, there's a gorgeous dynamic art space downtown. And I happen to locate the executive director, the fearless leader of the Pennsylvania Arts Experience, Richard Zuber.
Thank you, Carla.
Thank you so much. Now tell us, okay, what exactly is the Pennsylvania Arts Experience? Because it's not a gallery, it's not just one space, it's like this whole collective trail of artists that are unrelated but somehow brought together.
That's exactly right. What we are is a nonprofit organization in more than one county. We actually span from the Susquehanna River Valley through the Delaware River Valley and the Brandywine River Valley.
Oh, wow.
An artist trail that supports and markets and promotes artists in this really dynamic region. You know, that's the one take-home message here, is that the art here in this region that we call home is unbelievable. From the Charles DeMuth Museum to the different galleries and the different artists in this unique area, they're world renowned. And so we're actually here to promote them, and we're actually proud of them. So it's actually a PA pride thing going on.
So the whole idea is that all the artists that are located in this corridor, people can come to the Pennsylvania Arts Experience and they'll be able to learn about all the different artists that work individually, but that all represent this particular area.
That's exactly right. And our primary location here where we are today is our orientation center, and that actually provides you to really get oriented with what we're all about. And we promote our artists through a few different ways: by coming to the orientation center, looking at the map, but going onto our website as well. If you go to our website at www.paartsexperience.org, you can learn about all these different artists and the trail, and more about us as an organization.
So what are some of the things that you have on the wall here today?
Well, so for today, as in every day, as in every month, we transition and have a new artist every month.
Okay.
As it turns out, what you'll see here today is an artist, Carol Galligan. She's here for the month of May. And as you know, it's Mother's Day month.
Absolutely, very important.
So this is actually a celebration of her mother's life. And as a personal story, this is where her mother's journey ended through Alzheimer's disease.
Wow.
So every piece that you see here in the gallery today has been donated to the Alzheimer's Foundation. And we're just very proud to work with Carol Galligan, an exceptional artist from Lancaster County, that she's actually shared with her most personal touching moments with her mother's life.
Wow.
And that's what you see here now.
So what exactly qualifies an artist? Just the location, or is there other requirements and other things in common that the different Pennsylvania Arts Experience artists have?
Well, that's a great question. Today we have over 60 artists that are under our umbrella, or part of the organization. And the criteria is this. First of all, they have to be working artists. This is what they do for a living.
Okay.
Second of all, they have to have been juried at least 2 times in a show, or in 2 different shows. Mm-hmm. So what that does is...
Did they have to win, or they just had to be juried?
So it's not that hard. But you have to actually roll up your sleeves and say, dang it, I'm a working artist.
Okay.
And you
claim it.
Yeah. And so they're actually working artists that have been juried in 2 shows, and then they go onto our website as well, and then they can submit their information to us, and then we actually, if they meet the criteria, we welcome them on board, and then they have great exposure, not only in the gallery space, but on our website primarily. And what we're looking for are artists who are working hard to promote themselves and to partner with us. Because I got to tell you, we are a nonprofit group, and we're a small executive team, and a board that really cares about our artists. And we're really looking for those artists that we can partner with and help promote art in general, as well as their work.
Nothing sells an artist's work like the artists themselves.
That's right.
So all of this multimedia and 3-dimensional art is all created by the same artist. It's so different. The photography and the pieces, it makes you want to touch it. I won't, because I know you're not supposed to.
Well, Carol might disagree with that, but officially and formally, you are allowed to touch. But you're right. It's probably best not to. I guess we should say not to touch. You're right. But I would add this, Carla, that one of the great things about my job is that I get to live with this art for a full month. And in particular, Carol Gallagher's work is really involved, and every day that I look at it, I see something different. And it certainly is touching and emotional. And I mean, we can look at this one piece and see that she put so much time into it, and it really does tell a story about her mother's collection of spoons, or just the trail of her own life and her love for roses. You'll notice that's a red rose, by the way, not a white rose, so it's just blank.
And you can really see, like, this is real fabric that probably came from something in the home.
The door, the pattern here, edging the painting.
Yeah.
the work. This is what you call a mixed media piece. So it's really a collage incorporating all of her work from, again, the memory of her mother. And each piece really talks about the story of her mother's life.
Okay, so what are some of the things that the Pennsylvania Arts Experience has coming up, and some of the places that people can go that they really want to get that interactive experience with interfacing with art, with being a part of it?
You nailed it. Thanks for the opportunity to speak with us, because not only do we have the art experience, the Pennsylvania Arts Experience, but we have the Pond Experience coming up this July 26th.
The Pond Experience.
The Pond Experience. So what that is, it's a self-guided tour where you'll be able to travel and visit 6 different ponds in the York County region.
So cool.
Developed by Splash. Splash is an amazing company that has come on board to help sponsor our organization. And what they do is create some of the most jaw-dropping ponds you've ever seen in your life. They're private installations. So this is a unique opportunity to visit private homes, some overlooking the Susquehanna River.
So you're going to these gorgeous private places that normally you don't get to see.
Exclusive private properties.
And check out. So it's sort of like some of the garden tours that they have, but this is actually checking out water features, and a lot of them have like the fish ponds and
it's all about the core.
Multi-dimensional waterfalls. And
I think what you'll see is when you travel for this, during this, you're going to see each pond is different, and the owner's own personal interpretation is also involved in the creation. Splash does a great job of offering their creative energy, but they partner with these owners, and together they make an incredible pond. So it is a self-guided tour. It's $10 a head. It's an all-day tour from 10 to 5 on Saturday, July 26th.
And there's a bunch of other stuff going on at each of these stops, right?
At each stop, there will be food, drink, bands, live music. But one of the things as an art organization, what we're going to offer to the community is a chance to see the different artists painting in what we call a plein air style. In this style, they'll be actually painting on site, on location, their interpretation of the beautiful day that they see before them.
So you actually get to watch live painting occurring on scene, watching them do the painting inspired by the nature surrounding them as you're getting to look at it.
At each stop.
And those are going to be different Pennsylvania Arts Experience artists
That's right.
Artists.
And we're offering this to all of our we have 60 artists today that I mentioned, and they're all invited. So you might have as many as 5 artists per stop, something like that, to witness them paint as they're going to be there all day long from 10 to 5, and you might just be there for an hour at each stop.
Right.
But it's self-guided, and you get to spend as much or as little time as you want at each location.
Awesome. And now this orientation center too, when can people come and check out the fabulous art that's here?
Well, that's a great question. Thank you. Our gallery hours are piggybacked off Central Market's hours. So we're open from 10 to 2, Tuesday to Thursdays, and Saturdays 10 to 3.
And First Fridays.
And don't forget First Fridays, when we're open to the public from 5:30 to 9 o'clock.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It was great to meet you, and this gallery space is gorgeous, and I will definitely be at the pond tour, because, how many times you get to see those kind of artists creating in a real-life, real-time environment.
Well, thank you. Thank you for speaking.
Hello, my name is Sandy Leonard Polvinale, and this is one of the poems that I won in the Pennsylvania Poetry Society contest this year, and it is entitled The Nightmare. And those rhythmic beats of the native drums, the drone so monotonous, over and over and over, reminders of distant thunder. I am so close, I can feel the body heat, smell the jungle sweat, with the stomping, jumping of the natives like 10,000 soldiers on 2 feet. The dusty, earthy odor. Oh, that jungle heat, that monotonous native heartbeat? With that thought, I was jolted awake by the racing heartbeat and fevered body of Chris. The reality eased itself into my consciousness as my cool body revved up its temperature, pressed next to him. I had forgotten. We were still within those hospital walls, with soft-soled muffles of the nurse's footsteps and those monitored heartbeats and those sterile smells. This next poem is called My Brother-in-Law Has a Husband. It was also a winner in the PPS poetry contest. My brother-in-law has a husband. Vinny has a husband, and Ron would be the wife. Both of them big important men, husbands all their life. They love each other deeply. It shows in what they do. Poor Ron passed out on the floor, and Vinny had the flu. Their baby Cody dog had died. We picked him up last night. Ron cared for him the final days, could barely walk the flight of steps upstairs with heavy heart, and Cooper's at the door. He cried so hard it made him sick and passed out on the floor. Laid in vomit, unresponsive, Vince was on the run. To get his vitals, they were bad. I'm calling 911. The ambulance came quickly, Cooper's barking out of fear. But doctors checked, it was just a virus. Thank God, the coast was clear. Many marriages fall apart, and indeed, in almost every land. But they've been together 30 years without the wedding bands. Yes, Vincent has a husband, and Ron would be the wife. And in all my years, I've never seen such love in all my life. This next one's called The Messengers, and it also won an award in the Pennsylvania Poetry Contest. The Messengers. Life came crashing in the surf, relentlessly, crashing, cresting, crushing my spirit. My corpus churned, tossed about like a rag doll. That's when the angels came, out of the milky haze of the ocean's mist, like a mirage eclipsing the full moon. Fairy-like spirits tugging my buoyant body serenely over the waves. Winged creatures of light, aglow with the moon, all bling on the wings, like snowflakes before melting on a warm fingertip. I lay afloat on angels' wings, glistening in the ink-black waters. The messenger whispered, "Has he not kept you afloat thus far?" Peace flowed into me. The stars seemed to brighten, twinkled. The moon's glow 'twas blue and paled on my skin. Yes, that's when the angels came. The butterfly people. Water suspended, floating, breaststroke, side stroke, backstroke, and all the in-between strokes. Sensuous and soothing, calming, removing stress and tension. Then it happened. Out of the cocoon where I had hidden to heal, left arm, finger sliding, slowly riding the course along my side torso. Feeling touching its way up to my hips, ribs, neck, mermaid hair adrift, kissing my neck, as hands overhead touch, forming stained glass wings. I had emerged. I was submerged into another place on my farm. My wings slowly moved with the warm gusts of breeze as people looked on in the pond, surprised to witness transformation, human cocoon to butterfly. This next is actually a song called Goddesses Know It All. Oh, won't you come up for a girls' weekend out? It would be so much fun for us all. We could have our palms red with Maggie, I said, but I already know it all. I already know it all. Don't need my palm red, is all that she said. I'm the guru, the shaman, and more. Don't you think you can learn just one thing a day? You can't possibly know it all. Well, you're all very short, I hate to report, and I am the one who is tall. I'll be very clear, there's nothing, my dear, I could possibly learn at all. 'Cause I already know it all. I can tell you the date in 1258 when I lived in a town in Nepal. So don't tell me a thing, I've been there and more. 'Cause I already know it all. Talked to angels and kings and seen fairy wings. I've flown light years in space. You can't tell me a thing I don't already know. 'Cause I already know it all. I've flown well past the sun in one lifetime done. I'm above the things I have done. So I must be a god. There's no doubting this. 'Cause I've already known it all.
Well, I know you enjoyed the fabulous poetry, but I am here with the multiple award-winning, multiple genre dominant, multifaceted artist who is here representing Adams County today. We don't get that many people from Adams County, Sandy, that get to come all the way out here to the show. So, of course, I'm so glad you made the trek to come to the studios down in York to talk to us.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. Trust me.
Now, you came to my attention because I saw your name over and over and over and over looking at the awards list from this year's. The Pennsylvania Poetry Society is a hugely prestigious competition. And it's national. Even though it's the Pennsylvania Poetry Society, people enter poems from all over the country. And you've won, not just you won multiple awards this year, and you've won multiple awards throughout several different years. And so you've just got a whole, roster of award-winning poetry. And yet you seem so normal.
Well, my family is not normal. We're all very artistic. We're all very artistic and musical, and we're kind of like the Andy Wyeth family. We're so this is normal for us, for me. And thank you so much for bringing that up. And of course, you won first place this year in the PPS contest, which that poem blew me away. But it's actually an international contest. There have been some that have entered from overseas too. So this, yes, I feel very, very blessed to have won 3 poems in 1 year. It blew me away. I'm very grateful.
There is a very active group of writers that are out there. For the people that are here in York area, what is the literary scene like and the writer scene like where, in your area that you get to write with and create with?
Okay, the Gettysburg Poetry Society, they're the biggest because we not only share poems once a month, but we have a workshop every month.
Oh, wow.
Every month, and a lot of creativity goes on there. And sometimes we meet in each other's homes. Most of the time it's at the Gettysburg Library, and we're always looking for new members, and we did get 3 new members this year.
That's awesome.
They came to the conference. It was really nice. But there's also the Hanover Critique that meets every 3rd Monday in Hanover at one of the Giants there. So
very cool. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, Anna Bowman who does that, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Very cool.
Yeah, she's a very cool woman.
So is there like a scene? I know York can be very sort of edgy, industrial. We like, sort of with our art, we like to repurpose things, and we like to be very independent and unexpected with our art. How would you describe the scene? Do you see any common threads with the voices of the writers that you get to work with in the Gettysburg area?
I think so. And the Adams County Arts Council, combined with really pushing literacy, we had a fundraiser that took the Gettysburg rack. It was called the Gettysburg Paper Rack, and everybody got a chance to decorate one. It was like 6 of them, so 6 artists were picked out. But that got very creative because a lot of people used different things together. I used poetry along with art and collage all together.
So cool.
Yeah, and it seems like the Arts Council is doing more things with poetry, writing, with art and music. So
now that seems to be a theme that you really echo with the work that you do, which is combining. You've got pieces of artwork that pair with poems. You create and write poems with music thrown in, as we got to hear. Is there any one of those that's like a first love, or it just was a way to augment the poetry, or it just naturally seemed to come about?
That's a good question. My first love, it's like I had twins. I birthed twins. I birthed twins when I was like 13 years old, and I birthed the poetry and the art. And art was real big in my family, and also my father's a retired school principal, so writing was also very big. And yes, and my mother was a very accomplished poet, illustrator of airplanes, and professional artist. So there was always something like that going around our table. So I wanted to combine the first two loves, which were twins, the poetry and the art, and the music is really like secondary. I haven't polished that as much as I could. So those would be
It's only so many hours in the day.
I know.
But you have, and so the audience can see some of the art that you have created. Now, you work primarily in watercolors.
No,
I
never met a medium I didn't love. I really try to use any medium that looks good, even found objects. Yes, I have studied traditional watercolor with Betty Roby, the Schuler School method. I wanted to know that. But I do a lot of pastel and oil and pencil, you name it, you give it to me and I'm making some kind of art with it. So acrylic, a lot of, like the angel painting, that was all acrylic, and I like to blend mediums together.
Interesting. And now, as you studied watercolor, did you study the rest of these mediums in more traditional setting, or it was just a matter of sort of playing with them and exploring them?
In a traditional setting, when I was a child, I went to oil painting classes, and I mean elementary school child.
Wow.
So I got to know oils at a very young age, and my mother was such a riot. She would take adult art supplies and put them on the table, and all of us kids together would get to use them.
So you're like finger painting and impromptu painting with oils.
Yes.
That's so cool.
And those beautiful childish pieces of art that are just, I think, so brilliant. My sister Amy did this piece with pastel, with the bunny with a bikini on, and and it was so awesome. I framed it, so I kept that. And see, I'm digressing here. What was the question?
I was thinking about all the different traditional, studying forms of art versus, some more spontaneous art. I noticed a lot of the paintings that you do have a lot of real playfulness to them. A lot of your artwork has a very sort of informal and irreverent joy to it, which is just really fun.
Yes, my mother told me, please don't overstudy art. So even though I have taken art classes, she said the best nation is your imagination, and the best art seems to come from deep within the soul with the imagination. But I did study life classes at a very early age. At 15, my mother would drop me off with Sir Reginald Watkins in Baltimore. Wow. And in fact, there's a funny story that goes with that if you want to hear it.
Yeah, of course.
Oh my gosh, this was so funny. I go in as Sir Reginald Watkins. My mother drops me off at the door at 15, and she goes on her way to pick me up later. Bye, hon, go for a smoke break. So I go in, and Reggie said, I said, hi, Reggie, I'm Sandy. He said, good, go in the bathroom and take your clothes off.
Whoa!
I'm like, Reggie, I'm Sandy. I know. Go in there. Here's a robe. Take your clothes off. So I'm in the bathroom holding this robe. I'm like, what just happened here? So I came out with the robe. I said, Reggie, I'm Sandy. And he said again, I said, go in. So in the door walks this beautiful woman, adult. Her name's Sandy. And she's the model.
No.
Yes. Well, I laughed my head off. I said, Mom, Reggie wanted me to take my clothes off.
That is not what I ordered in the catalog.
No, it is not. So that was funny, but I was so thrilled to be in this class with adults painting a live nude.
And I noticed that, you do a lot of that. Is that a lot more challenging? Is that worth taking the time to study the specialty in the techniques? Because I've noticed, like, even in York, we have some wonderful life drawing classes and places that offer life drawing sessions, because working with the live model and working with people that have experience doing the dimensions and the shadings and the shapes of a live model is considered a really different form of artwork than drawing other objects. What's the big difference?
The hardest thing to paint and draw is the human body. It's so complex. There's light bouncing up. It's like light from within, light from without. I would suggest taking formal classes in life drawing and painting, and then go do your own thing. But get the basics first when it comes to life drawing, but still use your imagination.
I love that. I absolutely love that. So what are some of the exciting new projects that we get to see coming from you? I know you've got a lot of stuff that is going on right now.
Oh, I always have a lot of stuff going on. Well, a couple years ago, I was getting my oil changed. And
it's always a good start.
Yes, and I'm reading the paper, and I see this little blurb under the horoscopes, and it says, first time storytelling contest. And I thought, hey, I could tell a good story. So I entered it, and I won first place. So unbeknownst to me, my photograph got in the paper. So I get this phone call. The cell phone age, everyone's taking pictures. So I get a phone call from a woman, and she said, I'm having a big banquet for the Eastern Star in Waynesboro. Would you like to be our entertainment? I would love to have a storyteller and a poet and a songwriter. I would love. So I thought, why not? And I did it, and it was a blast. So these are new things. It's like everything is kind of coming together, where the arts, the academia, music, art, poetry, storytelling, it's all in there. So,
and now storytelling is a really interesting art form to me, because, I remember seeing when I was younger, there was a lot of storytelling for children. But the idea of storytelling for adults, the idea that there is a craft to this oral tale keeping, there's a real tradition behind that. That so much of history, that tales, that mythology, that folk tales were passed on orally, and that acting them out, that using that expression becomes a kind of theater. But I didn't even realize myself until, recently, that there's storytelling conferences, storytelling competitions. They even have storytelling slams, like poetry slams. Is this still something that's going on, this whole storytelling culture, this underground storytelling?
It is, and I'm so excited about it. I have been telling stories all my life, and most of them are true.
The best ones always are.
Yeah, seriously, the stories I tell and the things I write about are 99% true, and then I'll put a lot of performance into it. But I had no idea that storytelling was classified as an art, or I would have been doing this years ago. I would do this for my friends.
You thought you were just great at parties, but no. Seriously. You were practicing art.
Yes. And what happened was, I was at a party at another artist friend's house, and they said, Sandy, tell the story about when you were in Baltimore and that guy half murdered his mother and and about Sasha and they gave me a flashlight, and they had me put it on my, and someone started and they turned all the lights out, and someone started taping me on their phone as I told this story, and she put it on Facebook, and people were roaring laughing, and I thought, this is an art. It is. And I feel like I've kind of I'm finding myself now. I feel like a child finding myself that, yes, I am a storyteller, and I'm proud to be a storyteller. And yes, I am an artist, and yes, I am a poet. And, you know, yes, I write songs and I sing songs, and they might not make the top 40, but I like them and they make people laugh. So, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
More and more I'm running into creative people that really seems to be the way that creativity is evolving, that now that there's so many more things accessible, that for reasonable price or through self-education and even learning from the internet, you know, we can explore and expand. And it's like if you have a creative mind and you see the world through that creative lens, you're so much likelier to see everything that way.
Yes.
You just look at the world differently and have a different desire to express. And so it's like, I just have all this emotion, I have these perspectives, I want to express them. And whether it's music, or it comes out as a painting, or it comes out dancing, or it just comes out living with a lot of gusto and verve, I just have to live as an artist and be as an artist. And I love when I see people who are just embracing life so vibrantly. And you're like just living with the volume turned up.
Oh yeah.
Like
That's
you just
me.
have
My
that
whole
glow
family's
around
loud.
you.
Thank you. You know what I love is you totally get it, Carla. You get it. And so many, you know, when I was a kid, so many people didn't understand me, who I was about. You know, the boring conservative people, they'd be like, put her to the side. But the creative people are like, yeah. You know, I want to hear another story. I want to see some more art. And
was it hard when you were younger?
It was. I was an outcast. I was definitely an outcast. I was made fun of. I was bullied.
What?
And yeah, seriously, yeah, I was. And my dad actually really helped me with that in elementary school when I was being bullied. And my mother always encouraged me with everything I did. And God bless my two sisters, Amy and Monica. They would sit, no kidding, my little sisters, they would sit at the foot of my bed. I would read my poetry to them at 12, 13 years old, and they would be applauding. They were my first audience,
so
Carla. Yeah. And they're all artists too.
How did your dad teach you to deal with being bullied? And like, how did you deal with that and not get discouraged, not have it just devastate your self-esteem? Like, I mean, so many of our young people and our young artists now are still dealing with that.
Yes, I know. Bullying is a really big issue nowadays. It's serious. People kill themselves over it. Yeah. My saving grace was I wrote. I wrote. And I bought this book at the art supply store. It was a blank book with a hard, and I said, that's going to be my book. That's my book. And I'm still writing in it. It's a real thick book, yes. But my father took the negative things that the bullies said to me in elementary school, and he brought up the bright side of who I am and said, well, they won't be making fun of your lips when you're an adult, because most people, you know, they want big you've got kissing lips, Sandy, you've got kissing lips. And he said, most people want to have a lot of dialogue and good dialogue, you know, with what they were bullying me with, name calling. And so that helped. And like I said, my mother encouraging me. She was my biggest fan, besides my little sisters and my late husband, God bless him. And she would take it. I used to write for the Emmitsburg News Journal until my mother got sick and died. And in fact, one of my shining, what I feel, and Bill Mooney, that's a big theologian in Fairfield, said one of the best things he's ever read that I wrote was Beyond the Veil, a love story. Grief Unveiled, a love story. And what they called it, what they entitled it in the paper was Losing Mom. Blah, pretty blah. But that, it was a 4-part series that I wrote on the last week of my mother's life. And it's a roller coaster ride. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll pause and think. But I wanted everyone to know what real grief feels like, how it's told, how it's felt, that they don't think they're a weirdo, I've got to go to a psychiatrist. All these feelings are just feelings, but they're all part of us. And I wrote a story about it.
Carla Christopher, and thank you for joining us right here on the corner of Culture in Maine for another episode of York's Weekly Cultural Showcase, bringing you the very best of the art and culture scene in the York area. Now, if you like what you heard, or even if you didn't, we want to hear from you. So find us on Facebook and make sure to click like at facebook.com/Culture in Maine. Follow us on Twitter at Culture in Maine. Email us at cultureinmaine@gmail.com. Or to find all things Culture in Maine, check out our website, wrct.tv. Go to Channel 18, Show Profiles, and pick Culture in Maine. We want to also thank the artists who contributed to our set. We want to thank Hacker and Case for Change for donating the guitar. And we want to thank, of course, the fabulous artist Lovey Reinhold Price. Find her under The Glass Vidalia on Facebook or by emailing theglassvidalia@gmail.com. And John Stump of jsphotographyfinearts.com. You can also look up JS Photography Fine Arts on Facebook as well. So be safe, be good to each other, and we will absolutely see you here next week on the corner of Culture and Maine.
I'm really excited about this. I love the atmosphere, and I just want to know more about it.
I see it evolving, changing, growing. I like it.
Once it happens, once a song comes out, once a poem comes out, it will never come out the same.
Something like Culture in Maine is documenting what's going on in a way that will have that lasting staying power.
It just breeds healthy growth. It's a necessity. It's a necessity, yes.